what does it look like? So.
Okay, you want to start with that one? We'll start with whichever one you want.
Well, no, we'll start with.
Do you need that to be recording, or are you already?
We're recording.
Okay.
Good.
So, Gianna Lopez, publisher of Portland Family, and I'm sitting here with Portland Mayor hopeful Charlie Hales, and we're talking about, obviously, one thing he knows and loves, Portland. And so, what are some of the things that you love about Portland? There's a lot of time you've spent in the city and working with the city and building the city, but what are some of the things that you as a person love about Portland?
Yeah, they're all wrapped up together because I came here 30 years ago, chose Portland as a place to live, then have been very involved as a civic activist for 10 years as a city commissioner. And now I've spent 10 years in the private sector helping all these other cities become more like Portland.
Yeah.
And all that has reinforced this really strong distinctiveness of Portland in my mind and heart, and that is that we really are a city of neighborhoods. There are other cities that have a few nice neighborhoods, but nobody in the country has this quilt that we have of dozens and dozens of neighborhoods that each has its own identity. It has its own main street, whether that's Lombard and St. John's, or Alberta, or Woodstock, or Milwaukee Avenue, or 122nd. All over the city, there are distinctive neighborhoods with a sense of place, usually a school and a park that have the neighborhood's name attached to them, and a real coherence of that neighborhood identity and sense of place for the people that live there. And you hear a little of that from people in New York talking about their borough and their neighborhood, but I don't think there's any place even half as strong as Portland in that sense of neighborhood and that physical framework of the park, the streets, the houses, the context that we live in.
Does that go along with the people too that tend to migrate to those neighborhoods?
Yeah, they're people that are looking for an urban lifestyle, but they want it to be green and clean and connected to nature. And a lot of people move here because of our policies. They might not even know that we have an urban growth boundary, and that means there's real farmland and real forest and real wilderness not far away. But they like that, and that the city hasn't sprawled out to the horizon, but has tried to reinforce these great old neighborhoods and make them even better. And people love that. They love the walkability of it. They love the transit system. They love that you can get on your bike and get on the Springwater corridor and go from Sellwood to downtown. So even if people don't know the policies and the decisions and the good judgment that I and other people have applied to those challenges, they like the results.
Well, and they know that there are reasons why they're here. I mean, sometimes they're not even reasons that you can exactly explain.
Yeah.
It's kind of a combination of all of those things.
It translates into a feel.
It is a feel.
I love
it
how
is.
it feels to walk down Belmont.
Yeah, it is a feel.
Well, that's because it's a great old streetcar street where we tried to figure out how to take the dead dairy and make it into a cool mixed-use project with a ground floor grocery store and bring the upper stories to life with housing. People know how it feels. They may not be urban planner enough to pick it apart and describe the details.
So if you could then look forward 20 years, Portland's good at planning in increments of 20s, 25s, 20s.
Yeah.
What does Portland feel like?
Yeah, well, I hope it's less than 20 years, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running for this office, because I feel an urgency about a lot of these issues. But I want to live in a city that's a city that's green and safe and prosperous in every neighborhood. And there's a big to-do list for that nice vision of green and safe and prosperous to be true in every neighborhood. We have to have an economy that's stronger, and so our kids can grow up here, go to a great public school system, I'll get back to that, and stay here, be able to buy a home, live the Portland dream. And we have a lot of work to do to put the pieces in place so that those neighborhoods are all that quality of place. The school system is critical. We've held together public schools in Portland with duct tape and bake sales for 20 years. We can't do that for the next 20 years. I don't think we can do it for the next 4. I think we've got around the corner to a stable school funding system in this state and in this city. And I fault the legislature in particular. My opponent's part of that story, that they have faded from 45% of the state's budget down to 39 going to public schools. And Portland Public alone, that's a $30 million difference, not to mention David Douglas and Park Rose and the rest of the school districts in the city. So we have got around the corner and have stable funding for schools, and then we've got to put the buildings in good shape. So that's why I support the bond measure that's on this ballot. And the reason I get passionate about this is, you can tell, I get fired up about this issue, is I've been campaigning for a year. I've talked to thousands of parents on their front porch, and their children are somewhere in the background or hanging under their leg while we're talking at the screen door.
Yeah.
And they're worried, and they're not sure about the social contract where I get to live in a great Portland neighborhood, bought this old house, fixed it up, love the farmer's market, love the transit system, but I'm not sure if the public school in my neighborhood is still going to be a good option when my 3-year-old is ready to go to school 2 years from now. That's a scary conversation that I've had over and over again across the city.
So it looks like neighborhoods that are clean and safe and sustainable and prosperous, and basically it would be that microcosm of the neighborhoods permeating throughout all the neighborhoods to where everybody feels that.
Yeah, and we have a lot of neighborhoods that have work to do to get there. We have 60 miles of streets that are missing. They're dirt instead of real streets. We have sidewalks that aren't in place. There are neighborhoods where the kids walk to school in the travel lane of the street because there's no sidewalk. That's not okay. It's dangerous and wrong. There are neighborhoods that don't have a neighborhood park yet because we annexed them into the city sometime in the last 20 years, and we haven't gotten around to building a park there. Now, I'm very proud of the park system. I had a lot to do with improving it. Passed the first parks bond measure in 50 years and built the East Portland Community Center and the Southwest Community Center and the Mount Scott Pool, and built a bunch of new neighborhood parks, including several in East Portland. But we haven't finished that job. We need to get on with that.
So, speaking of Jefferson, had an interesting background too, and obviously very passionate about Portland and politics. But so, what's something that you admire about Jefferson when you look at what he's got to bring to the table?
Oh, I like Jefferson. I think this is one of the good things about this campaign is I believe we both like each other and we've kept it positive. And he's a very gifted campaigner. He's very good at political campaigns. That's what he's done in his career, and he's a good public speaker. So he's very good at that motivational speech. I'm better, I think, at turning those ideas into action. So I would say, if you want to make a choice between translating ideas into reality, I'm your guy, but I do enjoy listening to Jefferson.
Yes. Okay, so what makes you happy? Like, given a perfect Sunday afternoon, nothing's on your mind other than what's in front of you. How are you happy? What makes you happy?
Oh, getting outside in Portland. I mean, actually, this would be, both for my wife and me, a perfect day that we don't have the kind of leisure for right now. Get up, go to the Ugly Mug in Sellwood for a great cup of coffee on our bikes, then drop down onto the Springwater Trail and go downtown, maybe go to the farmer's market there in the park blocks, or hopefully soon to the new Portland Public Market that I'm helping to create on the waterfront, and then head up the hill to Forest Park. And so the park system, green anchors to our city are so important to me as a Portlander, as well as something I'm very proud of as a city leader. But then that connection to food that we have, real agriculture right outside the city, comes into us in these wonderful neighborhood farmers markets, and again, hopefully in Portland Public Market right there on the waterfront at the base of the Morrison Bridge. So that that experience of beautiful sunny August or September day.
We'll
on the
remember it
bicycle.
come
Yeah,
November.
right,
We'll
right.
really remember it.
You'll be dreaming about it. They do exist for a while.
For a long time. Actually, this has been kind of nice. This summer's had a nice
Summer.
run.
Really nice summer. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been great for campaigning.
Well, thank you so much.
Hey,
Wishing you
thank
lots of luck.
Well, thanks a lot. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to following your publication now. You made me re-familiarized with it. It's great. It looks really good. I like the format.
Thank you.
Yeah, got to keep those community centers open so there's a place for them to be distributed.
I know. I know.